Welcome to the fourth mini course of the Orthodox channel. So this is the fourth of a series of 5. So remember that we have already talked about cultural intelligence, language as soft power, the relationship between both concepts, cultural and cognitive arenas, pattern frameworks, integration of cultural worldviews, strategic language use, intercultural dialogue frameworks, and types of challenges in intercultural communication. It's a long list. If you want to see what it is about, I would like to invite you to see the playlist on my channel with where all these concepts are developed, so you can see where I'm coming from and why we are going to talk about AI today. So AI and tagging in a context of cognitive and cultural arenas that accelerate due to technology and the way we use them. I mean, it is very important to understand and to have an interpretation, a fair interpretation of this phenomenon with what is going on with AI, with the automation of language and the automation of tools and the acceleration of the communication processes, because that's what happens, right? When we have tools and devices that are able to output language in general, right? So the first thing I want to say about AI is that we went from data gathering to combinatorial data. So what does it mean? We went from collecting data, gathering data, interpreting data manually to combinatorial data or even synthetic data. This is what's happening today. We have AI databases being used to in combination in order to create more data that is useful for language purposes, but also for knowledge and epistemology purposes. So this is very interesting, but we have to understand that it is within the context of synthetic data. So this is something that you need to understand in order to see that we went from gathering to combining to synthesizing, but also now we have another phenomenon as well, which is what do we do with the new ways of gathering data. In the previous some of my previous courses, I had talked about the full cognition and the way we interpret information through that framework. Now, why is this important? Because with powerful technology like AI, we need to understand that data, information, and knowledge need to be reinterpreted, and we need to have the best tools in order to understand better where we are going and where we should go as human cognitive entities, right? So combinatorial data, so combining different types of data, data sources, and the synthesis of it. This is very important. And then we have a language as statistic probability, so mostly through next token prediction. I talked about next token prediction in our previous video, but basically we have the different and the limitless and the endless representations of language in a three-dimensional space, and we can access those representations through prompts, through chatbots, through different means. But we are living in times where we have enough data which is organized, which is collected, and which is available through next token prediction. So well, if you have used any AI chatbot, you realize that it works more or less like we have on our phones. Where when we are trying to send a message, we have already the word that is presented to us underneath as a proposition to continue the phrase. But it's more or less the same process. But in this case, what we have is an entire repertoire, like a universal repertoire of every language combination possible. So this comes from mathematical principles, and what is interesting here is that we can have any type of written expression or even verbal expressions, by the way, because these systems can talk today. This is not a secret what I'm saying, but we need to remember that it is also through verbal communication that these devices and these technologies can interact with us. Now, what we need to understand here as well is that in the next token prediction, we have every combination that is possible within language. Now, what does it mean? Does it mean that writing and written expression is over? It doesn't mean that. It simply means that we have different ways of reaching objectives in terms of written text. And here, what is essential, what we need to keep an eye on is our human choice. What we decide to create, the paths we decide to take, and so on. So this is something that we need to take into account. Language is not something mystical anymore, something that has some sort of secret human source. It's simply put, seen from a mathematical perspective, something that is that can be gathered in a very complex, sure, but a mathematical operation. Now, we also have, after an understanding or talking about next token prediction, we also have the notion of the automation of language production. And this is something that, well, it's quite controversial now, but many outputs on the internet and everywhere are being automated due to AI. Now, what does it mean? Does it mean that our communication is dead? Does it mean that we will no longer talk or say different things? Well, it doesn't mean that. It simply means that, well, the language is reflecting the acceleration of the world, and technology is there to facilitate that process. Now, what you need to do, especially in terms of intercultural mediation and communication, and if you talk to an audience on the internet or whatever, what you need to do is understanding that you need to start from acting from our pattern framework. Go to the first course to see what I'm talking about. So basically, observe the different behaviors and the different reactions in terms of culture and in terms of communication, in order to adapt your message and in order to speak more clearly and to have a better communication with your species, so with other humans, right? So that's something that you have to always have in mind in a context where language production is being automated. Now, it is also a matter of discernment, right? What do you want to automate? What do you want to produce spontaneously? What do you want to produce from your soul, from your mind, right? So this is something that you need to take into account. And then with the automation of language production, of course, we also have the possibility of hybrid synthesis. So from our perspective as humans, with information, with written text and so on, we have the possibility of contextualized human choice and machine optimization. So I think this is the best combination here, because with the power of AI, we have a very easy access to information through different angles and with different possibilities of categorizing and simply creating, let's say, different maps of information. So AI is very good with that. Now, what you have to do is, of course, contextualizing from the perspective of let's say, the physical or the real world. And this is why the next point, of course, is talking about the physical and the digital world. It is no secret, of course, that we're more or less living between two realities, right? So the physical world, or the real world where we live, right, with the trees and the people and nature, and the society and the digital world. So everyone is on their phones every day, on the computers, on the internet. Everything is done through an internet connection, and we are more or less feeding this digital beast every day, with our thoughts, with our information. And sure, it can be a matter of saying, well, who owns the information and why and what, but the thing is that as a species we are evolving, and in this evolution we have this sort of outsourcing of the information, and this is being dumped into the digital realm, right? So what happened here is that we need to differentiate, because that's how we get to map and we get to see where the information is flowing, where and why. So for the physical world, we need to remember that we have the direct and embodied experience. So remember when we talked about the 4 cognitions, so embedded, enacted, extended, and the fourth one that I always forget, embedded, enacted, extended, and the fourth one that I still don't remember. But in this case, we can focus on embedded and the embodied, right? In the sense that we are experiencing the world with our senses. We are experiencing the world with what the cognitive relation we have with the external world. Everything is embedded. Everything is contextualized, and it is contextualized for the cognitive entities that we are. So in this case, we need to understand that the embodied experience is what will help us understand and navigate the right sets of informations and the right way to communicate them. We also have in the physical reality, we have the sociocultural baggage. Of course, we have it on the digital realm as well, but in the sociocultural baggage that we have in the real world is directly accessible, and you can feel it directly, right? We also have the notion of limited information clusters. So limited information clusters. Why do we talk about limited information clusters? Because that's what we are. I am not sure if, of course, later we will be able to talk about AI entities being one thing or several things, but as human beings, we are different. We are separated from each other, and we are different cognitive entities. So, and as different cognitive entities, we are also limited information clusters. We have a set of information that is accessible to us, that is within us, and then that will determine the type of evolution of the communication of the information and so on. And of course, it is also related to the physical constraints. So we have a physical body, we are in a geographical context, and so on. So these physical constraints will determine the development of the communication, the development of many things. So we also have, this is very interesting here, diverse cognitive entities and diverse interpretations. Like a couple of months ago, I made a quick video about this idea that was bugging me for a while, because with the advent of AI, I do believe that we need to see the information landscape as a whole, and we are within it, of course. And the interesting thing here is that if we take ourselves as cognitive entities, then we can see that we have different types of interpretations, and we deal with the world in different ways. So that's why we talk about our diverse cognitive entities and diverse interpretations. Diverse cognitive entities and diverse cognitive interpretations allow coordinated agency. So this coordinated agency is what allows us to cooperate, to act together, to do everything together as a society, and of course to create meaning. And this is something very interesting for me, because I think that when we are creating meaning, we are doing that collectively, and but also through an internal process that requires our senses, and that requires our reasoning, and that requires our direct experience with the information. In the case of AI, in the case of databases, in the case of the digital world, it is not the case. I'm not saying that knowledge and information that has been dumped there throughout the years is not valid. It is valid, but it is different. It is another type of beast. So what we have to do is, well, reframe our agency and our conception of meaning. So meaning, in this case, we will see it as something that is heavily contextualized and that will depend on the point of view. So let's say, for example, if you see, well, in the case of translation, you can see it very easily, the meaning thing. So for someone who reads a phrase, that phrase will mean something, while for another translator or another person who knows different languages will mean something else. So what you have to do here is remember that meaning here will be the result of an entire mapping of the interpretations of your senses, of your experiences, and of your knowledge. That's how you get to meaning, and that's something that you need to understand in order to navigate the way you build meaning and the way you get to inform your meaning to others. This is important for those in the future, of course, with the evolution of technology, for those who want to write, for those who want to create art, and for those who want to communicate anything to the world, really. Even in terms of business, I think it's very interesting, especially between cultures that are very different. So having this type of cognitive tools is very, very important, because we are living today in a world, and this is where I start with some recommendations. We're living in a world where everybody is being boosted with this type of technologies. Everyone can write some sort of Shakespearean or Quixote type of text with AI. It's still a bit clunky, I will admit it, but you have to remember that it is only the beginning of a way of technology that is changing the world. But it is not a matter of how these AI models are performing today. It is a matter of mathematical principles, and also a matter of how we use language. So remember that language is the finest tool that you have. You can refine it within. While you practice it, of course, but also with a combination of ideas and understanding what AI cannot do. So my advice would be also to slow down and digest, because that's how you get insights about the integration of cultural worldviews, the integration of languages even. So that's why I insist on understanding the importance of dealing with different languages. So that's part of the recommendations I would give. And also remember that this is only the beginning, and also the beginning of my work. Actually, I'm quite glad with these mini courses. But yeah, so what we can take from here is remember that AI is changing landscape. We are human beings. We are in the intersection between the digital and the physical world, and that we need to reframe the way we see agency and the way we see meaning. And the way we do this is by understanding what what meaning means in terms of context, of interpretation, and the information that we have and how we use it. So that's it for this mini course. I hope you enjoyed it. So remember, this is the fourth one of a series of 5. The playlist is available on my channel. What else? Yes, there will be a full entire masterclass after all this, in which I will be explaining all this together again, and we'll be providing material about the course on my website. So that's coming soon. So check my newsletter, subscribe to the newsletter, to the channel, and do everything that you need to do to support this work. And hope to see you soon. Bye bye.